going on, party people? New episode of the Stephie Smalls Show, live here from Ultimate Contest Weekend in Vegas. A little hungover, but still a great show for you. Had on a bunch of guests. We talked Survivor strategy. We talked the Giants, of course. I brought on some guests that know college football way better than I know college football. Got some bets for you on that. More NFL, all things football. I had on Derek Stevens, Sean Green, Parker Fleming, Ryan Kramer, Collin Wilson. Enjoy it. Live from Ultimate Contest Weekend with the one and only Derek Stevens, now friend of the show. You're a friend of the show now.
Absolutely. How you doing, Steph?
I'm good. I've never been to Circa. It is amazing.
I had a chance to talk to you a couple days ago when you checked in.
Yeah.
I saw what you put out there, your view from the room. I like the fact you did the draft up there and you're looking at Stadium Swim. So welcome to Las Vegas.
Yeah, I let you know that you're my new landlord because I will be moving in for the NFL season. Talk to me about this contest. The signups, it's crazy.
Yeah, I mean this is obviously something terrific. We're so excited about. Last year the Circa Millions and Circa Survivor, they set the records, the two largest legal football contests in history.
Legal.
Legal's key thing.
That's key.
and then this year they're both gonna break last year's record. So they're both gonna once again be the largest legal football contest in history.
Easy. And the winner last year, did they live in Michigan? Am I wrong?
In
Detroit,
the millions,
right?
in the millions.
Okay.
It came down to the final game.
It was crazy.
It was four family of four brothers, and it came down to the Sunday night game, and they decided to let it ride with the Detroit Lions in that road game at Lambeau Field, and and they won. They covered. They won $1 million. So they're roaming around here wearing their blue jackets, as the champions get to this weekend. So that's what happened in the millions, and then Survivor was crazy. Went into the very final weekend with three. Undefeated teams,
left, right? Yep.
And 2 out of the 3 picked a winner. So it was $6.1 million and was chopped by 2. Unfortunately, one didn't make it out of the last week. What a gut wrenching day that was.
So that's got to be that's a bad day. That's a classic bad day. Talk to me about strategy for people. Week 1. What are we looking at week 1?
Well, I think for someone that's never played before,
yes,
my recommendation is you jump into the Circa Millions.
Okay.
The reason for that is it pays the top 100
okay.
for the whole season. Also, we cut up the season into 4 quarters, so we pay out $1.2 million on the quarterly. So let's just say you don't do all that that you're not all that hot throughout the whole season.
Okay.
But if you get hot for a quarter, let's say you have a 4-week deal and you go 14-2, you can cash a good sized check. So that's why I kind of like the millions for people just starting out. Plus also you get action all 18 weeks. You get 5 games, however you come up with it. So my recommendation is for first timers, play the millions because you're going to have action all season long. Okay. When we talk about Circa Survivor, we've got the big grid up here. We got to make sure you get
I know.
I
need
office.
One of these. It's almost the size of me, but I definitely need one. This might be something too we have to send to some of our followers. But
so the way it works is, you're in week 1, and effectively what this is just a map. Think about if you're in LA and you got to get to Boston, there's a lot of ways to get there. Yeah. So this is just your map to try to get through it. So there's a lot of different strategies playing Circa Survivor. So you just got to work your way through. And if you get through week 1, you become eligible to play in week 2. If you get through there, now obviously every week that goes by, you have a couple, you have a team less each time. So it gets progressively more difficult.
You got to be careful who you save. Do you save some of these big teams like Kansas City, the Bills? Are you saving them towards the end, or are you just taking it week by week, like you were saying?
I think, some people use this strategy called the bull rush strategy, where they just try to survive week 1, week 2. Yeah. That works for a little while, but then all of a sudden you're on Thanksgiving, and all of a sudden you're looking like, oh man, I don't have any good teams
Texans
left. Right?
You've got the Texans and the Cardinals left by week 13. You're in a bad spot.
So you got to kind of look ahead and play backwards. As far as saving, remember in Circa Survivor, it's a 20-week deal. And the reason it's 20 weeks is because Thanksgiving it's its own week, and so is Christmas.
Lovely.
So really what you have to do, you gotta you got to make sure you kind of protect the Thanksgiving.
Okay.
So you're always protecting like Cowboys or Lions, or, whoever's playing on Thanksgiving Day. And then on Christmas, it's kind of the same thing. So those are the ones you really got to make sure you're looking at.
Gotcha. So basically, whoever's playing Dallas, we're going to bet against them. This is an anti-Dallas podcast. So, but Derek, you've been fantastic. If you haven't been to Circa, be sure to get out here. It's been great getting to know you, and I will be back for sure.
Awesome. I look forward to seeing you a little bit later tonight, and make sure you get a shot to break out a stadium swim this weekend.
Yeah, I have to do that. I appreciate you.
Hey, thanks a lot, Steph.
Joining me now, Sean Stacking the Money Green. How's it going?
Doing great. Yeah, it is always funny when people actually introduce me with my full tout name, because again, naming myself Sean Stacking the Money Green, Ryan Real Money Kramer, we were using those names to like make fun of touts, and then we just did it every show for 11 years, and it kind of stuck. So there was it's always great to hear people actually introduce me.
I'm convinced I could probably do your intro like word for word.
Well, Ryan's daughters can do a pretty good impression of me. They walk around the house going like, "Welcome
to the Sports Gambling Podcast." Ryan and I, producer Ryan, we gave myself the nickname Stephie Raw Dog Smalls yesterday. Just because,
oh man, the fans gotta love that one.
That'll go wild on Twitter later. But just because I don't even have a flight home yet, just kind of just raw dogging life out here.
Playing it by the ultimate gambler. I like that. That's a power move. Coming out without a return flight home.
No, I never do it.
No,
I don't like.
Why would you?
I don't like rules. I don't like to be constrained to like one thing. So speaking of ultimate, it's ultimate contest weekend. You guys just signed up.
Yep. Got the
both
sweet
contests.
Yeah, got the sweet hats. It's a little bit of paperwork there, and ready to go. So last year I think we got a little cute. We went with the Carolina Panthers week 1. It was like Baker Mayfield at home.
Screwed.
Revenge game against the Browns. Cade York, 58-yard field goal. Just heartbreaking way to lose Survivor, because what was really annoying was that I had a lot of like money line dogs. Like I was on the Bears. I was on the Steelers. Like we had the Texans on the money line that had a crazy tie. Mm-hmm. So like we were on those teams, but we got cute in the Survivor. This year it's going to be like less cuteness, I think, is the strategy. Just literally survive. Yes,
more
100% gut. We did an episode where we walked through each like machination of like and picked every game. We'll see if we end up sticking with that, but yeah, I mean, I think you can try and get like super contrarian, and then I don't know, it doesn't pay off. Like, because obviously you are competing a bunch of people in the Survivor, but you're really, it sounds dumb, but you're competing against yourself, because you're obviously trying to stay alive. So, and
what do you do? So I was asking Derek this too earlier when he was on. What do you do with like, the big guys like the Eagles and Kansas City? And like, do you wait and save them towards the end? Because if you take them too early, I feel like you screw yourself, because then you're at like week 13 and all you've got left is the fucking Cardinals and like the Texans.
Yeah, we had, I think one good way is to like pick 5 or 6 teams right away and just completely X them off. Be like, I'm never going to use these teams. But also like for the good teams, especially with the Circa Survivor, it gets crazy because like Christmas, that 3-day slate of games is its own week. Thanksgiving, those 3 games are its own week. So you need to like prepare
in advance for those.
So like Eagles, I think we ended up using Eagles versus the Giants on Christmas Day, because the Eagles are at home right now. The look headline 7.5. That's where it seemed to make the most sense. But I mean, Chiefs, you don't want to burn it too early. So it's a balance.
The Eagles are going to ruin my Christmas this year, huh? Is that what's going to happen? That's what's going to happen.
It's going to ruin someone's Christmas, and it's not going to be Boston.
I hope
Scott.
It's yours.
When Boston, when the schedule came out, I'm like, Boston Scott, and I was just thinking like all my cousins, all my relatives that I see on Christmas, just going to give them Boston Scott anytime touchdown tickets. It's pretty exciting.
I keep Boston Scott on all my dynasty teams just so I can play him when he plays the New York.
Yeah, because you're like, hey, if he's
guaranteed.
It's funny, like it started out him just like having a couple games coincidentally where Miles Sanders was hurt and he filled in and played okay, but now it seems like it's definitely a thing where like the players go like, hey, we're going to put him in because he's good against the Giants. So it's definitely become a thing for them.
I feel like they're tormenting us a little bit. Like, I feel like it's a joke. Like, in the locker room, it's like, oh, yeah, we're definitely mixing up some type of play for Boston Scott.
100%.
Torment these.
Yes.
I saw someone he got married, I think, recently, and I saw a bunch of Eagles fans are like, "Oh, congratulations to the Giants' dad." I was like, "Can we settle down a little bit? It's too much." What do you think about the Eagles this year? Before I let you get out of here,
it's a great question. You know, the only thing that scares me about the Philadelphia Eagles is how damn good we're gonna be. The only thing that scares me about the Eagles is build a case against them. You can't, and hard. That it sounds stupid, but. The team is going to be really good, and that's the only thing that scares me. Like, normally the Eagles do well when they're an underdog, you know, when hungry dogs run faster. So this team coming in with massive expectations, obviously the possible hangover from the Super Bowl. But if there's anyone that can kind of like step up and do okay after a Super Bowl loss, I think it's Jalen Hurts. Losing Javon Hargrave, losing both coordinators. I mean, Shane Steichen, I think, was a really good play caller. Like, that stuff is the biggest concerns. But then you get 2 first-round picks on the defensive line. Look out, Danny Dimes. Someone gonna turn you into break you some change.
Someone needs to arrest Howie Roseman. I don't know how it needs to happen. When I saw that they were talking about like going after Jonathan Taylor too, that report came out, I was like, someone please like arrest this man. He needs to get out of that. I need him gone. He's a problem.
Well, and again, myself and Ryan, unlike a lot of people in sports talk, I admit I was wrong. There were many times I said, fire Howie Roseman, get rid of Howie Roseman. This guy sucks. He's a complete disaster. But now, I mean, he has just turned into ever since when Chip Kelly took over and they demoted him to the equipment room, like literally moved his office into where they had the equipment, and he just sat there in that locker for a year and like just came out swinging ever since. So Howie Roseman, the ultimate redemption story. Eagles going all the way. Go Birds.
So they're winning the NFC East. And they haven't done that since what, 2003, 2004, right?
And that was the Philadelphia Eagles. And it's a similar, Andy Reid, Donovan McNabb, Jalen Hurts, Nick Sirianni.
Do you think Commanders come in last?
Yeah. I mean, I think they're the most interesting team, I think, in the NFC East, as far as like it could go really bad, or like they have good defensive line. If Sam Howell does something, you could talk me into them winning more games. I mean, I picked the under on them because I think the biggest issue is like the Ron Rivera, Eric Bieniemy. Yeah. Like if you're Eric Bieniemy, you look at the next coach fired odds and you see Ron Rivera right up there. You're like,
I already
all right,
bet it.
Yeah. Okay, I'll go there. That guy sounds like he's going to get fired.
Yeah.
So I think that's the biggest thing hanging over Washington is Ron Rivera sucks. Like he's a poor man's Jeff Fisher. Like what? 12 years in the league, 3 years with a winning season. He's just not a good. He's like he's a floor coach.
I think the best thing for the Commanders this year is for them to absolutely shit the bed.
Yeah.
You go and you actually try to get a real fucking quarterback for once. Don't be in quarterback poverty. Get rid of Ron Rivera and just start fresh. It's time.
Yes. No, to me, it's like you had a new owner. Why would you not just hire Eric Bieniemy as your coach and get rid of Ron Rivera?
I think that's the plan though. So it's
so like I don't know what.
Just do it. Cut to the chase already.
Yeah, it's like you're this transition year. It's like,
so stupid.
What are we waiting for?
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for coming on. If you're not following the Sports Gambling Podcast, you need to
do
be
it
doing
now.
That. You're an idiot. Yeah, go do that. Thanks so much.
Hell yeah. Thanks, Steph.
Joining me now, Ryan Kramer at Circa. How's it going?
Oh, we're in Vegas, and we survived the night. We hydrated, right?
Somehow, yeah.
We hydrate. Hydrate. Keep action going. Keep track of the days. Those are the rules.
You got to just, shampoo effect. You wake up hungover. You just take. That's what we used to call it. That you don't know about this. Rinse and repeat.
Yeah.
So you wake up in the morning, a little hungover. You just grab another drink and you just keep moving forward. Got to push through.
Yep. Water and coffee.
Yeah.
I'm an old guy. I'll start with the Red Bull vodka shortly.
Your birthday was yesterday, actually.
Happy. Yeah. Thank you.
Happy 25th.
It was a happy birthday.
Yeah. Good birthday.
Yeah. We had some. The team Ryans had some tiki drinks.
Some painkillers.
We were looking lit. Hey, they were called painkillers, but they tasted so good. I didn't get the metaphor.
Yeah, no, I'm sure you felt it a little bit this morning.
Oh no, because I drank that whole bottle of water before I went to bed. That's the trick. You gotta hydrate before you go to sleep.
Yeah. See, the old people remember to do that. I did not.
It's just me telling my kids to drink water. Like I just hear it in my head. I'm like, drink water, drink water.
Yeah, not a fan of water. I just already have another high noon. But you joined the Survivor contest, right?
Yes.
Both of them. What is it? The Millions?
I got 3 entries in the Millions. Okay. 2 entries in Survivor. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it's
all right. We're up to $3 grand.
Listen, when you're in the business, it's an expense.
Right. Oh, you're right.
So
it's just a tax.
It's just money. We're moving it across the balance sheet.
Okay.
You know?
All right. So you're in. You have 3, 4, 5.
Million.
Are you in 5?
No. Oh, 3 millions and 2
millions,
survivors.
2
So
survivors.
5 total.
Okay. So with Survivor, I'm actually splitting a team with Jason Gold this year. What's your strategy?
Win. Okay. So last year we sat down with one of our sharps and we mapped it all out. Every week we had the answer. And week 1 we had Carolina, got too cute. Cade York bent us over, and we were out. And shout out to Derek, because everyone else who got busted that weekend, he gave a free weekend out at the Circa. So
that was shout out.
Wanted to make sure we could come out here and blow some more money.
So you have no strat. You're just going into it gut.
So this year we said, well, I legitimately spent 2 hours studying last year for the exam, and I failed it in the worst way possible. So this year, full gut, survive in advance. We did walk through it yesterday on the show, but it was full gut.
Okay.
Which means we're taking the best one. We're just easy peasy, right? Week 1. What are we doing? Baltimore.
Done.
Right?
Easy.
Don't overthink it.
When are you taking Giants?
No game theory. We're taking the Giants week 17 against the Rams.
Oh, I mean, again, it makes sense, right?
After we take the Eagles against the Giants on Christmas.
Yeah, I heard about that.
That's the sneaky angle with the Survivor out here. You got to play the Black Friday and Thanksgiving week. So that's its own week. So week 12 has 2 weeks, basically. You have the Friday and Thursday games, so that you have 8 teams there. You kind of have to do enough strategy to save one of those teams.
Yes.
And then you have Christmas, which is another short 6-game slate where you have 2 weeks that week. So it gets a little tricky. So for us, we're taking the I believe we settled on the Packers on Thanksgiving, because obviously the Lions always lose that game.
Yeah.
And we settled on the Eagles on Christmas. Unfortunately, Giants and Philly, they've not been great. I conceded that to my co-host Sean.
At least you know that your Christmas is ruined in advance, right? Like,
you know, we'll see. Maybe we'll get a nice surprise.
Maybe, but then you'll be out of the contest.
That's fine.
It'll be worth it at that point. It'll be that.
Yeah. If I make it to Christmas, I'll be happy.
And at that, if the Giants win that game, God, I just want to win week 1. All I want nothing more.
We have Derek on every week, and he tells us that his most fun element of this contest, and by the way, screens everywhere showing you what the current overlay is, over 3.3 million in both contests. But he loves the sweat of watching that number trickle down, and to see if he's going to have to put some money out of his own pocket.
He's a true degen.
For me, the Survivor, every week's a sweat. If I can make it 15 weeks, I got 15 out of 18 weeks of my money. That's fine. And
that's a win.
Maybe
that's a win, right?
In the Survivor pool, that's a win.
Yeah. You're in a million underdog drafts too.
Oh.
Are you going to stop soon? Or
actually, they shorten the clock.
You're on the clock.
It's still 10 hours overnight, but it shortens to 4 hours during the day. And so it's not a flex, but there's probably 50 slow drafts going on. And I'm just constantly like the stress of, okay, I'm done with my show. Let me pop off and get off the clock in 10 drafts real quick. But I'm still pacing to max out the Best Ball Mania. And fun thing happened this morning.
Okay.
I drafted Dan Jones 6 straight times, 6 different drafts all at the same time.
That has to be a world record, right? It's gotta be. I can't stop taking him.
Ownership's gone under 50% for me, but I'm juicing it back.
Yeah, you gotta pump those numbers up. Those are rookie numbers. Where are you at with the Giants this year? I know we talked about it, but what about that 7.5?
Oh, it's disrespectful. It was
rude.
It was 7.5 last year.
Yeah.
I understand the schedule got harder, but the team also got a little bit better.
Yeah.
And so if we're just ignoring that, sure, be a hater. Ignore the fact that Dan Jones obviously looks like a stud moving forward with this offense. Ignore the fact that Wink is getting all these fun tools to play with. Yeah. Ignore all of that and lose your money.
Yeah. And his touchdown prop it was 16.5 when it opened. It's 17.5. He threw 15 last year.
Again,
what are we doing? What is
disrespect?
It's so rude. He has how many new weapons? So you're telling me he's not going to throw 3 more touchdowns than last year?
Again, I'm invested in that already. I have a large investment in the Dan Jones
MVP.
fund. This MVP. One of my best ball partners, we do the FFPC ones, which are $125 a pop.
Okay.
He lives out here in Vegas. His half of the entry, I just keep telling him, go get me that 75-1 on Dan Jones MVP. So I'm sitting on a half dozen of those tickets as well.
You're sick in the head is what's going on.
And I think the biggest real talk, Dan Jones to lead the quarterbacks in rushing touchdowns.
Oh yeah,
is 20-1.
Is it?
It's 20-1. He was 3rd last year in carries inside the 10 and the 5, only behind Jalen Hurts and Josh. Actually, it was Jalen Hurts and Justin Fields, I believe. And so, to me, there's Jalen Hurts. There's some of these guys, but look, he's sneaky good. He's 6'6". He's a big guy.
I'm sick of the sneaky good thing, though. It's like Dan Jones is good at football.
He's good.
Period. It's done. I'm done. I'm over it.
He's going to have some amazing athletic play with his legs, and people are going to be like, whoa, he's sneaky fast.
Yeah.
It's just that's code. If you see a white guy run fast, you say sneaky fast.
And obviously, you just never watched him at Duke because he's always been this athletic. Is the thing.
I don't like to admit that he went to Duke, but
we don't.
We have to.
Well, the thing is, my whole take is, I told you this the last time you were on my show. If he went in the 2nd round, everyone would be like, "This is the next Patrick Mahomes."
Great pick. Great pick.
Yeah. If he went in the 2nd round, it'd be awesome because Dave Gettleman.
But I will say, you start looking at that draft.
It looks pretty.
Let's start reevaluating some of those people the Giants were supposed to take.
Maybe we'll stop talking as much shit because
Dan Jones and Dexter Lawrence in the 1st round is looking pretty nice.
Yeah, not bad. OBJ, not bad. We turned that one over. Yeah. What do you think about the NFC East before I let you get out of here?
Oh, Eagles are still good, unfortunately. The Cowboys are going to be a dumpster fire. Yeah. They're going to be a running team that has no quarterbacks taller than 5'6" that have ever carried the ball more than 180 times in a season. That's a problem.
Deuce Vaughn is the same size as me.
There's 2 players this year, Bryce Young and Deuce Vaughn, who legitimately are noticeably small.
Yeah.
Feel bad for him small. There's going to be a weird injury. Commanders, I think, are going to surprise people.
No.
I think the Commanders are going to surprise people. If I was diabolical, I would bet that the Commanders and the Giants finish 1-2 and just go full nuclear. We don't get a repeat division winner again. Last time it happened, 2003, 2004, Philadelphia Eagles. Yeah, I think chaos. And again, Giants win the division. Commanders come in 2nd. Cowboys last place, obviously.
Yeah, I really like taking Giants 1st, Eagles 2nd for some reason.
That works too.
Yeah. Got to mess with Sean a little bit, right?
Play around any way you can. I'll give you a sneak peek.
Okay.
Super Bowl prediction for me.
Don't say it.
All right, I'll give you the NFC prediction. Giants and Eagles playing the NFC Championship game. Let's go. Let's go.
I'm gonna bet it. We're gonna get off this, and I'm going right down and I'm betting it. Thanks so much for coming on. If you guys don't watch the Sports Gambling Podcast, I've told you a million times, go watch it. I only listen to one podcast. That's the one. So go listen to it.
Cheers.
Yeah. Before I leave Vegas, I need to place some college football bets. Don't know that much about college football. So I got Parker Fleming with me. You're going to help me out with this.
I'll do my best.
Okay.
I've been known to talk a little bit about gambling in college football.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Good.
I think there's a couple fun ones because college football is great because there's just a lot of information.
Yeah,
so
we like fun on this show too. So yeah.
Absolutely. So one of my favorite bets that I really like is you can still get Colorado State over 4.5.
Okay.
They're a team who was kind of bad last year, but their defense was actually sneakily decent.
Really?
And the whole deal is they brought in Coach Norvell over from Nevada. He wanted to run the air raid. They've had a bunch of tight ends. So they're like, oh, we can't really do this. They've got some guys in there. They've got Torrey Horton as a really good wide receiver. Clay Millen was one of the most accurate quarterbacks. I think they're going to be a lot better than that 4.5 win total. So that's one that I've given out and really liked. And it's fun because you get to root for a Mountain West team to be better than
I feel like some people really like taking the under because I think they just want to hate that team. Yeah. You're not thinking about it logically. It's more that I don't like this team. I'm going to take that under,
absolutely,
right? Yeah,
absolutely. My little brother is an Arkansas guy, huge Arkansas fan, and he's I'm betting against everyone in the SEC West. I just want to be emotionally invested in that. That's a bad strategy. Don't do that. But I definitely understand it. So
it's like me and the Dallas Cowboys. Any game that I can take against them.
Exactly, the emotional hedge, or I think Iowa State football player got in trouble for betting on the Texas game. he bet on Texas, and then Iowa State just murdered them. So he did the emotional hedge, and then it didn't pay off. Yeah. But
we love it. We appreciate the emotional hedge. Yeah, it's a smart move. What else you got here?
Other ones that are really interesting to me are Penn State. I think is a team that you can get them. I don't know current odds off the top of my head. Haven't looked. Obviously, go shop. Look at a lot of different places. Look at Circa. They have good lines. Yes. But Penn State last season was 10-2. The only teams they lost to were the two playoff teams that were in the division, and they beat the Pac-12 champion in the Rose Bowl. Just pushed them around. That's a team. I think they're going to be really good. They've turned over quarterback. So Drew Allar is replacing Sean Clifford. It's not like Drew Allar was bad and didn't get to play. It was like he was young and this is his time. So it's like a coronation more than it is a quarterback turnover. He's going to be there. They also brought in this dude, Dante Cephas from Kent State last year.
He's on my college. I'm in a fantasy college team.
Yes, let's go. Yes, okay, Dante Cephas on the dudes list. The dudes list is wide receivers that average 13 average depth of target and 6 or more yards after catch. So it's like in 2022 it was like Xavier Worthy, Jalen Reed, A.T. Perry, like absolute dudes. So he's a guy that I think really gives him a dimensionality on offense. It really helps and continues in a long line of Penn State dudes, Jahan Dotson, Parker Washington, some really great wide receivers over there.
I'm so excited about Jahan Dotson this year.
I think he's going to be great. I think I saw an article just this week about like, his underlying metrics are way better than people think, and he's going to be really good.
I keep reaching for him a little bit in fantasy, but I don't care. Get your guy. Like that's that's my dude list. Like I go after the guys that I want, and I get them.
Absolutely, and especially after the first couple of rounds, as long as you're not being dumb about ADP, then you're like, hey, I like this guy. What are you doing if you're not drafting the people you like and trust? Right.
Then, I mean, fantasy is supposed to be fun, so at some point you got to have a little bit of fun. I live in Michigan, so I don't take sides yet. I haven't decided. Michigan State, Michigan. Who am I betting on this year more? Is there one over the other that you like?
Oh, I think Michigan State's in a really hard position. I like Mel Tucker. I think he's a great guy, and I think he's done some good jobs at coaching spots in the past. But very clearly, he got really, really lucky with the transfer portal, and they took a big step back. And their win total is I think it's 5.5 this season.
Oh, wow,
they've been down a little bit. They're really kind of struggling to build up there. So a little bit not optimistic. I think it says a lot that their quarterback transfer. Peyton Thorne transferred to Auburn and is going to start at Auburn. And it's kind of like, guys, what are you doing? You had an SEC quarterback there. You couldn't really do anything with that. So I think Michigan's going to have a much better season. I think it's a little bit until Michigan State's back in kind of contention or anything. I wouldn't necessarily go under on Michigan State because there are some reasons to be optimistic, but I'm certainly not going to tie my money up in a season long over on a team that's really been struggling the last couple of years.
Everyone can be optimistic about the Lions. I won't give them. I'm not going to give them too much optimism. There in Michigan because they're very excited about the Lions. What is one last bet if you had to give me like another one of your favorites?
I think that you can get really good odds on UCLA to win the Pac-12.
Okay.
They brought in Carson Steele, who I made this graph, and I'll toot my own horn. Chip Kelly saw this graph. Carson Steele saw this graph. And that was the marriage that was made there. And it was yards before contact and yards after contact. And UCLA was all the way in the far right corner, so super high yards before contact, not a lot of yards after contact. Carson Steele was all the way to the left, so he was super low yards before contact, super high yards. So it was like, this is a match made in heaven right there. So they bring him in. They've got a couple options. At quarterback, they go with Dante Moore, the freshman, or Collin Shield, that transfer and come in. Schlee, excuse me. And the way their schedule breaks down, they really could sneak into the Pac-12 championship game without being amazing. And so that's one of those ones, hey, you can get that like plus 1,200, plus 1,800 or something. I mean, if it's still that high, that's somebody that's really interesting to me because of the way their schedule breaks out. So another team I have circled, I think their run game is going to be great. They brought in Navy coach Ken Niumatalolo. And so that run game should be dramatically better. And Chip Kelly's really been cooking the last couple of years with the offense. So I'm optimistic about them. If you can get long shot odds on UCLA, that's another fun one.
I think I just found my college football guy for my show. It's a new show, so now I have a college football guy. This is awesome. Great.
And I've been playing a little bit with player stats and props and stuff. And so especially in the fantasy, I know like some of those Debbie guys and the Campus to Canton dudes are absolute sickos, but I love it. And so absolutely could talk about that or see what's going on there.
Let everyone know like where they can find you. Make sure you guys follow him. Our new college football guy. The Stephie Smalls show.
The hub is Stats of War on Twitter. That's just the best place. I do a show on YouTube for BetUS on Tuesday, Wednesday throughout the season. I'm on the Hammer on Tuesday afternoon. But if you go to the YouTube, it's all, or excuse me, go to the Twitter Stats of War. It's all there.
Love it. Make sure you follow him. Thanks for coming on.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Thanks. With you now, Collin Wilson. I need more college football bets because I don't know what I'm doing when it comes to college football.
You should be betting the entire board. No, I mean, don't tell me that because I will do it and we're in Vegas. So You see, the great thing is week 0 provides us this chance to look at Florida International, look at New Mexico State, look at these teams you'll never look at again, get a little bet in, and then make either a bias on whether you hate them or love them. That's why week 0 is the greatest.
So I went to Arizona, University of Arizona, not ASU, where producer Ryan went.
The fake U of A.
We don't want to be, I'm
an Arkansas guy. We're the real U of A.
There's nothing more offensive than someone saying, "Oh, you went to ASU?" No, I absolutely did not. I went to the real Arizona school. But what do you think about Arizona this year?
I love Jed Fish. He's got the program going in the right direction. Pac-12 Media Days, which I was at, was really interesting because Jaden Delore is dealing with a lot of off-field stuff that I won't even talk about right here, even try. But I wonder what the impact is on the team with all of that. They definitely have the talent. They underused Jacob Cowing. He was a transfer from UTEP last year, probably one of the best wide receivers in the nation. They've got to figure out a way to get the ball to Jacob Cowing, get it down the field. They're going to score a lot of points, but there's no faith in the defense can stop anybody. But that's Pac-12, right?
Yeah.
No one's playing defense.
Yeah, very, very much so. So I'm probably not betting on Arizona as much this year. Who should I be betting on?
Out of the Pac-12 or anybody? We're leaving this wide open.
In the Pac-12, is there someone in the Pac-12 you like?
So I think the thing is everybody in the Pac-12 has a returning quarterback that is extremely explosive that can score a billion points. You think of Bo Nix, Caleb Williams, and then you've got this one outlier team, which is Oregon State. Yeah. And they're not built like the Pac-12. They're built like an SEC team because they run the ball like crazy. Right. And DJU, all he did is run inside zone at Clemson, and now he's got Damian Martinez and Fenwick, and they're going to upset teams that they should not upset. They're going to be 13-point dogs, 17-point dogs, and specifically, if I was going to go make a bet, it'd be a game of the year. Oregon State, Oregon, they're getting about +6. Oregon's defense can't handle the rush. That's going to be a bad game for the Ducks.
Okay, so replacing that, and then what about the rest of who else do you like?
And college football in general?
What's your favorite bet?
Auburn has a chance in the SEC to surprise.
Okay.
I don't think people realize how good Hugh Freeze is as a coach. Lane Kiffin even came out last year. And, Hugh Freeze was at Liberty, and they beat Arkansas. So he's doing all these amazing things. And he used to beat Nick Saban when he was at Ole Miss. Lane Kiffin cut an interview, and my eyes actually popped out of my head. He said, they asked him, who is the best game day coach in all of college football? And Lane Kiffin said, it's Hugh Freeze. Nobody is more prepared. Now, he was at Liberty. Now he's in the SEC. Yeah. And Auburn listen, Brian Harsin was a dumpster fire at Auburn, right? And it makes all of their advanced stats look like, well, Auburn has nothing. Actually, they have a lot in the tank ready to go. They don't have Tank Bigsby. He's in the NFL now. But Auburn has a lot, and they have a great coach. I would look for them to make a lot of upsets. I love their over.
Yeah. Okay. Good to know. And then I do a lot of fantasy stuff. People talk a lot about Caleb Williams. Where do you think is a good landing spot for him next year? I know it's hard to say. Cardinals probably going to be pretty bad. Yep. I think Commanders could be in the mix, actually, like a low-key team. Is there? And
he would want to go there, right? Yeah, you would think the hometown he would want to go there.
I think that would be a good spot for him. Yeah. Is there what's the best landing spot, ideal scenario?
Well, if you have a player like Caleb, you wonder if he needs to be in California, stay in LA because of his star. You're not going to put him in some of these remote, desolate places. Maybe he could be the Cowboys quarterback. And I don't know. I'm kind of on and off the Dak thing.
Don't let that happen.
Well, when did the Cowboys decide that this is just never going to happen with Dak, right? They moved on from Zeke, and how many more years of inefficiency or injury from Dak before we decide? And does Jerry Jones, who, is looking at his clocks, I think I want him in the Super Bowl. Let's trade the whole farm for Caleb. But I think he needs to be in a big market. How
many times are they going to say it's our year? My favorite bet actually in the NFL this season is for the Cowboys to lose in the divisional round at +380. I placed that bet because they're going to do it. They always come up short. And at what point do you realize that, is it Dak? You have to start looking a little bit more inwards. Maybe it's not the other issues that are going on. Maybe it's just Dak.
Right. And plus you're in a division with some good coaching, good players. And I say this about the Giants. There's a very anti-Giants narrative going on, but Brian Daboll is an amazing head coach. And if he can produce offense with Daniel Jones, and they got Darren Waller now. I think the Giants are getting so much hate in the market. I don't understand that at all.
It's amazing. Everyone, he has no idea I'm a Giants fan. I did not pay him to say that. So I am a Giants fan.
No, I have a Giants 26-1 downstairs to win the NFC. Are they going to make the playoffs?
You can come on my podcast anytime.
They could be a 7-9 team and make it, and then I've got a chip in a chair with 26-1. I'll take it.
I have fibbed a little bit on this show. I normally do not touch the Giants win total, but 7.5. You can get it at plus 100. I already took that over. I did bet it this year. So normally I stay away from it. I had to take it this year. I just think that they, I've said this a million times. Daniel Jones, the best weapon that he has thrown to, you remove Saquon from that equation, is Golden Tate. And again, like not like the Golden Tate you think of.
Right.
We're talking like a little rusty Golden Tate. Like that is the best player he's ever thrown to. Now you had all these weapons. You had speed. You have Darren Waller. You can, run 12 personnel. You've got Bellinger still there. I think that they're in a really good spot. They can confuse a lot of teams too.
Well, the great thing is, if you make a projection of like 7.2 on the Giants and they get to 7 wins, then the final week you can hedge that out, especially at the plus 100. That's why I look for win totals plus 100, minus 110, or even plus money, because that way you get to the final game of the season, you can hedge out and take the other side. Okay.
Before I let you get out of here, is there another win total that you really like that you're
in the NFL?
Yeah.
Oh, I like Green Bay over 7.5.
Okay.
Jordan Love, who, by the way, if you don't know, has like the best autograph on a football card that I've ever seen. It's
really?
J with a heart.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is. I'm not lying. I've got his panini. I got his tops.
No
it's
way.
Like, and I think Jordan Love is completely underrated. And from a college perspective, he was great at Utah State. He lost his quarterback's coach, went a little awry, smoked some weed before his final bowl game,
Good for him.
Then sat behind Aaron Rodgers. He's extremely talented, has a monster arm. I think he's going to really surprise a lot of people up there in Green Bay.
What about Jaden Reed? Do you like him? He's kind of my sleeper right now. I've been taking a lot of him. I really like him.
Michigan State's special teams off the charts with Jaden Reed. He is a freak of nature.
Yeah.
I think he's rising up all the fantasy drafts right now.
Yeah.
Which I can't see past Bijan because I'm paying people off so I can pick Bijan in every draft. But
as much Bijan as you can possibly.
Well, when you have an owner and a GM and a coach come out and say, well, he's a first, second, third down back. I mean, that's fantasy gold because most of your running backs are first, second down, then they're out, right?
Oh, absolutely. And then what about Gibbs? I said I was going to get you out of here, but now I got to ask you about Jamar Gibbs too, because college guy, just talked about running back. So where are you at with Jamar Gibbs? Because I do find myself drafting a lot of him.
So it's
hard not to.
Well, I love him because if you're playing fantasy football, you're playing PPR leagues, you're looking at running backs that can take it out of the backfield, and that's all that he did at Alabama. He was the scapegoat. Can I say that? Scapegoat for Bryce Young whenever he got in trouble. Boy, Bryce Young's getting his brains pounded in this preseason too. But Gibbs is great. He doesn't have Gibbs to dump it off to, but I think Gibbs is a great fantasy selection.
He misses his pacifier a little bit, but thank you so much for coming on. Let everyone know where they can follow you so everyone can consume your content.
On Twitter @_Collin1 with 2 L's. Of course, you can go over to actionnetwork.com. Oh, by the way, we have an action app where we get graded on all of our bets. I think running 6 years in the green now, so hopefully we can keep that up.
That's awesome. I need to get my hands on that and probably maybe not be sharing it with everyone, but I appreciate you coming on. New friend of the show.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Watch him make it, break it down.